Ms. Mangram, you're here today after losing your son to a violent crime. You say the defendant, Ms. Schools, is claiming your deceased son is her child's father, which you say is impossible.
Yeah.
Ms. Schools, you say you have no doubt that Mr. Mangram fathered your child, and today you will prove it to his family. How did you find out about Ms. Schools' pregnancy, Ms. Mangram?
Oh, well, it was on June 23rd. We were at the hospital. My son, he was shot. She came up to me and she said, Miss Venus, my name is Amber, and I'm pregnant with Dominique's baby. Yeah, so I looked at her and I said, yeah, baby, you pregnant, all right, but I don't know if it's Dominique's baby. And I turned around, I just left it at that. I didn't want to hear that. Anybody coming telling me that they pregnant, I didn't want to hear. No time, no, I just didn't want it.
So, Ms. Schools, is that how it happened?
No, it's not. I actually wrote her on Facebook and told her, I was like, hey, Miss Venus, my name is Amber. I'm actually downstairs. I was like, I don't know if Dominique told you or not, but I'm actually 3 months pregnant with his baby. I was like, I'm downstairs in the hospital, and just to let him know that I'm here, because I didn't know what was going on. I was just informed that he was shot. So I'm like, I'm downstairs just to let him know that I'm here and I'm praying for him. So I didn't get a response. So I actually get on the elevator and I go upstairs and I see him hooked up to all these tubes and machines and stuff. So I'm just standing there looking, and I had told her, I was like, hey, Miss Venus, I'm Amber. I'm the one who wrote you on Facebook. So she was like, yeah, I got your message. So I'm sitting right there and I'm just crying. I see him hooked up to all this stuff and I'm pregnant, so I'm very emotional at the time. So I'm crying and I sit down right beside him, beside his bed, and she's rubbing on my back. Everything is gonna be okay, don't worry.
No, ma'am, no, ma'am, no, ma'am, no, ma'am, no. That did not, I am so sorry, no. I don't remember none of that. Now, the Facebook thing, okay, came after Dominique was already gone.
Right, but you got it. And you told me you got it.
And I wrote you back.
You did not write me back. You did not write me back. Because when I came in the room, you said, I got your message. How could you write somebody back and your main concern is your son?
I never told you that I got.
So hold on, Miss Mangram, I want to understand. You said you didn't get that. Well, of course, you're not checking Facebook when your son's in the hospital.
What I be looking like on the damn
I told you. I didn't know how to get in contact with nobody. I didn't know how to get in contact with nobody. So I wrote you.
Right now. Real dumb.
Yeah, okay.
Real dumb.
All right.
Because no, ma'am, not Venus, no, sir. Somebody coming telling me that they pregnant by my baby? No, I wouldn't. At that time, I did not care. Do you hear me? Do you understand me? I did not care.
I understand you. Yes, I do.
My son told me several times, okay, that there is about 3 or 4 girls who say they pregnant by him. Now, I knew about 2 of the girls, okay? I knew about 2 of the girls, but I never met Amber, okay?
And after the day in the hospital, you never got a chance to ask him about Miss Schools?
No.
Okay.
No.
So let's fast forward to when baby Dominique was born. You have the baby. During that time, do you keep in touch with Ms. Mangram and her family?
During the whole pregnancy, I kept them updated with everything. My baby shower. He sent me little forwarded messages off Facebook with prayers and stuff, telling me she loved me, and you know she's coming to the hospital to see me and my baby and stuff like that. And she came and saw my baby for about a couple minutes. She came and sat there like the second day I had my daughter. She came to the hospital and looked at her.
I went to the hospital.
Looked just like his baby picture. Looked just like his baby picture.
Oh no, sir. No, she do not. But I went there and then held the baby. And I took her hat off to look at her hair. And I said to myself, no.
She didn't ever tell me. She gonna sit there and say, she gonna tell somebody else, oh, this not a man because all my babies come out with a head full of hair. A baby has 2 parents.
Yes.
Not just fathers DNA. They have 2 parents.
All Mangram babies have a head full of hair.
Look at my baby. She got a head full of beautiful hair.
All Mangram babies had a head full of hair when they were born. Every last one of them. You know, Amber, I apologize, you know, but I honestly did not want the baby to be his baby.
Why is that?
I did not, because I did not need no more reminders of my baby. I did not need it. I don't want it, and that's all that it is.
So why we here? I
That's
told
all
you,
that
leave it alone. My
the
baby was
reason
fine
why we're
when
here
she was
is
at.
because I'm sick and
I'm tired of that. I'm
of
tired
you
of that. She
talking
was fine
about
when she was at.
daddy,
She got a grandmother.
watch
She
over
got
the
a baby. So why we
If he
here?
ain't the daddy, stop saying it.
She got one.
If he ain't the
Okay,
daddy,
let's-
stop
I
saying
told you
it.
leave it alone.
Ladies,
I told you leave it alone.
ladies.
Pay talking about
we was
daddy this and
friends.
daddy
We was
that.
friends.
Ladies.
Don't even here.
Ladies.
Let's get some order,
Enough.
ladies. Let's get some order. I know this is emotional and I know this is difficult. And it's interesting to me, Ms. Mangram, as I hear you testify, the pain of losing your son is so great. You don't want a reminder. You don't want that all the time because it just reminds you that he's no longer here. And I know that sometimes it's hard to just say what your truth is. And I appreciate your honesty. Those of us that have had to deal with very painful losses in our life, and I have had to do that, I know what you're saying because you find a compartment for that pain and you want to try to leave it there so you can function.
That's it, and go on. That's it.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell.
Every time I turn around, I can't stand it, even when people talk about him on Facebook. That's why I hardly go to his page. Because, and I know that he's a loving person. I know that he is. And how everybody miss him. But don't nobody miss him more than I do. And that's my baby. And I just want to be reminded of him. I love him, but I just don't want to be reminded because I'm just so tired of crying. I wake up in the night screaming, hollering, crying, because I just, oh God, my baby's gone.
I understand and I hear you. I hear you. And now we're in court today because there is a beautiful little girl.
And she is.
And she's named after your son.
Yeah. Dominique Samaya. She's a very pretty baby.
Her husband even told me I can name the baby after him. Like I was going to name my baby that regardless, but he gave me the honest name, give them the last name. You know, I was more close with the father. He came to me with open arms. Like, and in the beginning, I did want to be accepted by the mother, you know, but he did so much to me. Like words, verbally, it was.
Miss Scholes, I have to say this. I don't think you were trying to do anything malicious. I just think, unfortunately, this mother at that time could not process it all. Now her husband, Dominique's father,
Yeah.
I'd like to hear from him. He came to court today. Ron, can you please escort Mr. Mangram into the courtroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Mangram,
Yes, sir.
get you come with me. I'm gonna have you go up and sit at the witness stand right next to the judge, if you will.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Mangram. We are here discussing the paternity of baby Dominique. And Ms. Scholes has testified that you were able to engage her and speak to her and even gave your permission for her to name the child after Dominique. Is that true?
Yes.
And why did you do that, sir?
My son told me that she was pregnant. He didn't just tell me that she was pregnant. She was right there when he told me.
When was that? Because he ain't never brought her over to the house. When did you see her?
She never got out of the car.
You've never heard of this day, Ms.
No.
Mangram?
I'm not here to argue. I met Amber and I accepted what my son told me.
I know it's difficult, sir. Take your time.
Yeah, it is. It's just a fight, you know what I'm saying? Between them, and it's like, I don't want to be in the middle of it, however it goes. I would still like to be around.
So, Ms. Mangram, your husband seems to think there is a possibility that this could be your son's child.
Yeah,
After you hear his testimony, do you feel differently?
I just feel in my heart that she is not a Mangram. We took the DNA test and it came back, ha ha ha, negative.
Wait, when did you do a DNA test?
It was probably back in April when it came back. But it was only because he had a blood transfusion.
Yeah.
And the blood transfusion can actually alter the DNA. That's more than one person's blood.
Let me have that evidence. What you're saying is they took DNA from the deceased Dominique's
Yes.
body.
Yes.
But this was right after
The next day.
the shooting and everything that happened, and in their attempt to save him, they had given him multiple transfusions. How many?
They just said massive. It's a whole lot.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And Ms. Schools, you are presenting evidence that shows that the blood was drawn the day after he passed away.
Yes.
You are also presenting evidence that says that there are several things that can validate or affect
She swore up and
paternity
down.
testing.
She got scientists. I'm telling her, oh, Miss,
I'm talking
like
to
Miss
scientists,
Venus.
yes.
I'm like Miss Venus. Like I'm sitting in the car crying because I'm like, this is not right. And I told her that day, this is not right. So she was like, everything's gonna be okay. So I'm sitting in the car crying to myself, like, it's something's wrong. And I look at the paper and I see the dates. So I do my research before I even tell anybody that, this is what I found out. And it comes back, yes, a blood transfusion can alter a paternity test. So I tell Miss Venus, I screenshot it to her and everything. So in the beginning, she was like, well, okay, if it's true, I want to do it again. So I'm like, okay. And then a couple days or a couple weeks later, she come back, oh, well, I talked to scientists, my mother, or whoever works at a hospital. They telling me this not true and all of this.
But I'm sitting up here and I'm thinking, you was living with your boyfriend and messing with Dominique at the same
First of all,
time.
he wasn't even there.
Wait a minute now. So, Ms. Schools, were you living with another man while you were with...
So we stopped talking. He moved out. He wasn't even staying with us at the time. That's when I started talking to her son. And her son knew him. So he was like, well, that's not right. That's not how you're supposed to be treated. So before we even started having sex, we was friends before anything. And just so happened, it became more than what it was. He accepted that. Like, he already knew that. He already knew. And I told him the whole time. When he was the first one I told when I told both of them I was pregnant, actually. And
You told Dominique and the boyfriend?
right, I told him. And he was like, well, I want a DNA test. When I was pregnant, I volunteered to do a DNA test when I was pregnant. Yes. But Dominique my doctor told me that they had to stick a needle in my stomach and my sac to actually get the fluid around the baby, and that I can have a miscarriage. So she was like, that's not the best option. Wait till you actually had a baby. So that's what I did. But unfortunately, he wasn't here.
Well, I'll tell you. This is exactly why we sit here every day. Because the stories change and they differ. But DNA is absolute. And so we have had you all undergo independent testing through this courtroom.
Yes.
And there will be no question as to what the results are when we hand them down.
All right.
We are going to go to the results. But before we do, Mr. Mangram, I have to ask you, if you'd like to stand with your wife, feel free. I know this is going to be very emotional news either way. The envelope, please, Ron.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. To be clear, because the blood card of the deceased was in question, we performed a DNA test with the surviving grandparents. With that being said, the results determine if there is a viable relationship between the child, Dominique, Samaya Mangram, and the grandparents, Andre and Venus Mangram. The results read as follows. In the case of Mangram versus Schools, when it comes to 18-month-old Dominique Samaya Mangram is not related to Andre and Venus Mangram.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
Mr. Webb, you have been waiting 2 years for this day. You claim the defendant, Mrs. Forrest, left you for dead only to find out once you got out of a coma that she was pregnant and that the baby could be yours or her husband's.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Forrest, you and your husband are here today desperate to put an end to this drama. You say you have no doubt your daughter's biological father is indeed your husband.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Webb, what are your intentions today if the DNA determines that you are the biological father?
My intentions are to fight for full custody rights if she is my daughter.
Well, that's my daughter, and you ain't getting her.
Ms. Forrest, how did you get yourself in this triangle?
My husband got in some trouble, and I ended up meeting Mr. Webb through one of my friends. We hit it off, and then I ended up leaving Mr. Forrest for Mr. Webb.
So you began a sexual relationship?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and were you using protection at the time?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Webb, what is your take on this?
It didn't happen like that at first. Yes, we was in love, but towards the end, I was on life support.
No, that's not how it
And-
happened.
As soon as I got out the hospital, I had got a phone call saying that she was pregnant. I heard it from my aunt first, but on
No.
my way to Illinois with my dad, she had called me and told me that it was a possibility that Elena was my child.
She told you a possibility.
Yes, ma'am.
So that means she was admitting that she also had slept with other people.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you think the other person was just her husband?
At the time, no, Your Honor.
You thought there were other possible?
Yes, Your Honor.
No.
And why would you think that? Why would you have reason to think that?
Because she was working at the time and some of her check would be coming up missing every time she would get paid.
No.
And so what did you suspect? Because something was missing out of her check?
She would get off at 10 o'clock. It would take at least 15 minutes to get home. But she would come in at 11 to 11:30.
It took about 45 minutes to get from where I was
So
working.
it was missing time and missing money.
Yes, Your
Where
Honor.
she was MIA.
Yes, Your
Now,
Honor.
All
from,
right.
from where she worked at, and I know for a fact it took 45 minutes to get from her work
And at the-
No,
to
Your Honor.
the house.
That's a lie.
And at the time,
No, Your Honor.
Because when I moved
So,
back,
Ms. Forrest, let me just ask you point blank. Were you sleeping with anyone else besides Mr. Webb and your husband?
no, Your Honor.
Not during that time.
That's a lie,
But when
Your
you
Honor.
called Mr. Webb and said, I'm pregnant, you did say, and there's a possibility.
Which I didn't get back to with Mr. Forrest until after Travis had done left, or Mr. Webb has done left.
Your Honor, I have a letter from my mom where I was on life support. When she came to drop off my stuff,
Which we were already
she had
broken
moved
up by
into
then.
a motel with Mr.
This
Forrest.
is evidence you'd like me to see?
This is a
Jerome,
my
will you
mom's
hand that to
statement.
me, please?
they broke up like 3 days, from my knowledge, to like 3 days before he ever went into a coma.
No, Your Honor, I did not have
We were
any
fighting,
idea that we were
over,
split
and
They were
that
up.
having
was it.
problems.
I had called my dad for a bus ticket to Alabama. 2 hours after I got off the phone with him, I had ended up on life support.
So this is a statement from your mom?
That is a statement from my mom. And he was there the very next morning in a motel with her.
Is that true?
We were already broke up. We've done called it quits. We done
And
called
me
it
and,
everything.
me and my
That's
wife
a
had
lie,
already
Your Honor.
started talking back about getting back together. Well, after they done broke up like 3 days before he ever went to the hospital.
No, Your Honor.
Bottom line is, he's in the bed on life support, and now you have reconciled with your husband.
Yes, Your Honor, but I tried to see him. His mother would not let me see him.
I'm sure there were some feelings because you had gotten back with your husband while he's fighting for his life.
Which I loved Mr. Webb at the time, but we were,
You loved him.
well, I mean,
So when you
My
realized you
feelings
were
that-
pregnant, when exactly did you realize you were pregnant?
the middle of September,
That is a
All
lie,
right.
Your Honor.
because I didn't know at the time I was pregnant.
So, Mr. Webb, how did you find out she was pregnant?
She had called me the day that I got out of the hospital. I was on my way to Illinois with my dad. I got a phone call. We had a discussion. She said that I may be the father, but then again, I may not be because she was back with Mr. Forrest.
I was there with her at the doctor's office, so it was the middle of September when she found out.
It was in August whenever she found out that she was
No.
pregnant.
No, it was not.
So
That
there's
is not
a
true.
month discrepancy. You say September, you say August.
Yes, Your Honor.
So when you got the news, did you immediately think you're the father?
Well, she had told me ahead of time that I may not be the father, but there was a chance that I was the father.
So now, what makes you stand in court today, Ms. Forrest, and say that your husband is definitely the father?
I have counted back the times from when she was born, 9 months back, and it takes it to the week that I was only sleeping with him. Me and Mr. Webb are already over with.
All right, let me grab my calendar, see this.
My daughter was born on May 9th of 2013.
Okay.
And then you take it back 9 months later, that takes it to the week of August 26th through August 31st.
August 26th through August 31st, you were sleeping with your...
Just my husband.
The thing about it, Your Honor, is the day that before I went on to life support, we did have sex.
Well, that was the question I was about to ask. What day did you go into the
I
hospital?
went into the hospital on August 26, 2012.
So you saying August 25th, you all were intimate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that correct, Ms.
Yes,
Forrest?
Your Honor.
Without protection?
Yes,
Yes,
Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Okay. So that's intimate with Mr. Webb. Now you here to tell me you know for sure that your child is fathered by Mr. Forrest and you've got this close proximity?
She looks, yes, Your Honor, she looks just like my husband. She takes after him.
But you do realize this difference in time, this is all a part of the same window of conception. You do understand that, right, Ms. Forrest?
Yes, Your Honor.
He wasn't there for the birth. Why wasn't he there for her?
The reason I have not been there, Your Honor, I had got an email on Facebook from my aunt that Miss Forrest had Elena.
So you got news that the baby was born. You didn't hear from Miss Forrest herself.
No, Your
No,
Honor, not at first.
You heard through your family.
Yes, Your Honor.
I messaged his mother on Facebook and told her what hospital I was going to be at, where I was going to be, when I was going to the hospital and everything. Him or his family, nobody showed
Nobody
up.
showed
So
up.
question,
No.
you messaged him
I messaged his
on
mother.
Facebook, his family, to let them know, but why do that if you know for certain that Mr. Forrest, your husband, is the child's father?
Just in case that he did come back being the father, he could say that
He wasn't there for the birth.
he wasn't there. I
so
had
the
difficult
truth
labor.
is, even you had doubt.
At first in my pregnancy, yes, Your Honor. But he
Who's
wasn't.
on the birth certificate?
My
I
husband
am.
is.
Of course.
You are. Well, yes, and you would be presumed to be the father anyway. A child born to a marriage, into a marriage, the husband is presumed to be the father.
I've took care of her since the day she was born. Well, a month after she was born. He ain't took care of her.
Mr. Webb, were you given an opportunity to see
No, Your Honor.
baby Elena after she was born?
I have not met Elena. We have set up dates plenty of times.
They have all been under his terms where he
I
wanted to
have
go.
drove from Illinois whenever she told me that I could meet Elena. I spent the last $80 I had to put in gas.
So-
She had backed out, changed her phone number, and blocked me on Facebook. 3 weeks later,
And that's like
I
every
moved
number
back
I
to
get from you,
Tennessee
it's always
and tried
changed.
to contact her to meet Elena, and she would not contact me back. That is why
And
we
so,
are here today.
Elena is 2 years old.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you have still not
No, Your Honor.
held this baby?
No, Your Honor.
Never one time?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
I'm afraid that if he does get to see my daughter, that he can run off with her, and
Because he's
there's
done
nothing
threatened
I
her.
can do to get
So
her
you
back.
admit, Miss Forrest, that you've been blocking Mr. Webb from seeing
Yes.
Elena?
Yes, Your Honor.
After you initially informed his family that where she's gonna be born.
He wasn't there. I had a difficulty of labor. I had a seizure and I had to go.
But I'm saying if you informed his family because you believed it was a possibility he could be the father, why wouldn't you give him an opportunity to see the baby?
He proved he didn't care by not
If he
being
wants
there.
it.
When she told him, he told her he did not care.
No, I have
So
never
therefore,
said that, Your Honor.
he ain't there for 2
I have
years.
been in tears for the last 2 years trying to meet my daughter, and she has never let me once
When I
talk to
called
her
him-
or see her.
When I talked to
have
him and
had
told him I was
to create
pregnant.
a fake Facebook account just to see pictures of Elena.
I can't get past why you would not just allow him to see her if you thought it was a possibility that he could be her
They have
dad
all been
for
under his
2
terms.
years.
He's never wanted to meet any. He wants me to come 45 minutes from where I live to his mother's house. I'm not comfortable going alone with my daughter to his
For
house.
45 minutes? You're not comfortable going with you to see?
Not alone, and he's always wanted me to come to his mother's house.
No, Your Honor, I have planned to meet her in Dyersburg, Tennessee, which is a big town, just so I can meet Elena out in public.
And what's wrong with that?
I'm afraid that he's gonna end up taking my daughter, and there's nothing I can do to get her back.
He's done threatened to take our
Miss
child.
Forrest, are you afraid he's gonna take your daughter, or are you afraid he's her biological father?
I'm afraid that he's gonna take my daughter.
He's done threatened to take our child.
I have a boy. He called me about 2 weekends ago. I was on my way to Arkansas, and he told me that if I don't let him see her, he's gonna take her to court or take me to court, and he's gonna take her away from me. There's no way that he is getting my daughter. I have cared for her for 2 years. He hasn't.
I will
He's
fight
wanted
for
to see her, but he
full
hasn't
custody.
wanted to
If
do nothing
This DNA
under-
test proves that I am Elena's father. I will fight for my
This
full
is my
custody
child,
rights.
and I will fight you for custody.
There's no way he is getting my daughter.
No, this is our child, not yours, and I will fight you for full custody.
There's no way that he's getting full custody of my child.
I will fight.
No.
So, Mr. Forrest, you're convinced you're
Well, whether
Elena's
I am or he is.
Oh,
Isn't
wait. Are you? No. I'm saying, are you convinced you're her biological father?
There's a possibility, yes. But I don't know for 100%.
You're raising her as,
My own.
so she thinks you're her daddy.
She
Correct.
calls him
Calls
daddy.
you daddy.
He calls me daddy.
She doesn't have a choice, Your Honor, because Miss Forrest would not let me
He
meet
would-
my daughter.
He doesn't want to meet under my terms.
I sit in this same seat countless times and I see men that say, well, I don't know if it's my child, Your Honor, so I'm not showing up at a hospital. I'm not coming by to see this baby. I don't even want to hold the baby. I don't even want to buy the baby a bottle because I don't know if it's mine. And quite frankly, I have to say, a part of me has to honor what they're thinking and their opinion and the way they feel because they don't have certainty. In this case, I see a man that wanted to do just the opposite. I know it's just a possibility, but I still want to see her, know her, until I can figure out if she's mine because I don't want to miss the time, and ultimately, I don't want her
And
to
I'm
miss out.
afraid I'm going to lose my husband and my family over this.
See, we bond together. Do you do that?
Well, how can he do that if she won't
Well,
let
because
her see her?
we done tried. He said he did not care.
But I'm saying, how can he bond with her like that when you admit that your wife will not allow him to see her?
I mean, look at it. Look at me and my daughter. She is happy. She looks just like me. She takes after me and everything.
Mr. Webb, I see you are in a lot of pain. It hurts you to see her.
Yes, Your Honor.
And why does it hurt you? What do you feel? You just feel like you've missed out on 2 years.
Yes, Your Honor.
And until the DNA comes back showing that he is the father, he will not see her. I'm sorry, that's just the way I feel.
So is this Miss Forrest's idea or yours?
This is mine.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. So I think it's time we go to the results. It's time. Jerome? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Webb v. Forrest, when it comes to 2-year-old Elena Forrest, as to whether her biological father is Mr. Webb or Mr. Forrest. It has been determined by this court that her biological father is Mr. Webb. Be clear, you did not just cheat him, you cheated her. Cheated her. You knew it could be a possibility.
And I'm afraid I'm gonna lose my husband and my family over this.
Well, this is my point. You're thinking about yourself.
That's all he thought about when we were together.
You're thinking about yourself.
He won't see my daughter.
I think you need to step outside of yourself and your own selfishness. Ms. Lytle, you and your sister claim you've always known the defendant is your father and say his paternity denial caused pain throughout your childhood. You hope today's results put an end to this 29-year mystery. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Finister, you claim that years of doubt have given you reason to believe that you are not their father. You are ready to prove your case today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Lytle, how has your dad's denial affected you?
Growing up, I was angry. I always felt like there was a piece of me missing. I was very defiant because, I wanted my dad and I didn't have him.
And I can see the pain. It was very hard for you, right?
Growing up, my mom, she had 4 kids. So she took care of all of us on her own.
It's been a lot. He's been absent since we were kids. He was not there. Never any ownership. It was everybody else's fault but his. And I'm tired. I've gone 27 years of heartache. And I just want to know so I can move forward and put this behind me.
Yes. As young girls going through so much, how did you cope with this?
I would write. I wrote a poem when I was a child. I have one today.
Please, read it for me.
It's titled, Why? Daddy, why did you leave me? Why did you go? Didn't you know I loved you so? You couldn't stay and went away. Didn't you know I loved you? I cry at night wondering why, or if you even loved me. What was so important that it took you from me? Your selfish ways have left me hurt and lonely. Why do I feel like you don't want me? Maybe one day you'll come looking for me. Until then, I'll wonder only, why?
And as a young woman, you wrote those words.
Yes.
As you were searching your heart to figure out why.
Yeah.
Why your father wasn't around.
Yes, Your Honor.
And not only was he not around, he's now here in court today denying paternity.
Yes. And I feel like his reasons are the worst reasons a parent could have. My mom's already gone, so you're all I would have left. And from the moment she died, he felt like it was a blessing for him because he didn't have to pay child support anymore. Look at kids. What did we do?
Mr. Finister, you say you don't believe you're their biological father?
I have doubts.
Tell me the nature of your relationship with their mother.
We've met 30 years ago. She didn't have anywhere to live. I told her, come and stay with me. So she did. And that's where it began.
Where the intimate relationship
Yes.
began.
Yes.
And
She
how
stayed-
soon after that time did you find out she was pregnant?
Over a year. The next time I saw Noreen, I was at the hospital with a friend that was sick at the time. And I looked at her and I said, Noreen, how are you? I said, I'm fine. I said, whose little girl? She's adorable. She said, that's your daughter.
Really? What happens to your relationship with Tiffany? What happens? Do you become her dad?
I married Noreen some 3 weeks later.
Oh, 3 weeks after that?
Yes, ma'am.
That looks like you carrying a little girl.
That's me.
That's you.
That's me.
Tiffany.
I was about 1 in that picture.
And your mom.
She was a beautiful bride.
She sure was. I can see a look of love as you look at that picture.
Yeah.
That makes you emotional.
She was special.
How long were you married?
Not long.
How long were you together?
Pretty close to a month before she left and went to Washington State.
What happened?
She
You
wanted
look
to
so
move.
happy on this day.
Well,
My mom was on drugs. My mom wanted to better herself. So she wanted to leave Vegas behind so that we can go and start over and have a healthy mother-daughter relationship with all her kids, period. She gave him the proposition to go. He turned her down because he didn't want to leave the work, and he felt she should have stayed in Las Vegas because he was already making money.
when I got in from work, she was already gone.
She left, and at that time, Lakita was born or not?
No.
So she left with
Wrong.
Tiffany.
She
I was 4
born.
months.
She was 4 months old when my mom
I was
moved
4
us
months.
to
I was already
Seattle.
born.
Either way, I didn't learn about Lakita until I got papers in the mail saying that I was to pay child support for 2 kids. I don't know who Lakita is.
Oh,
So the
wait.
judge-
Hold on. So you had no idea Lakita was on the earth until you got the papers?
That's right.
May I ask you a question? If that's the case, why would you even tell me I'm your child? Why do you keep telling me there's no doubt, and regardless of what happens, I'm your daughter?
Your Honor.
That's not clearly not how you feel.
Other people have said that he has doubted. He has said from the beginning that he doesn't believe that we're his. Even
He's
though
told his own
me.
family he only had 1 child. He had 7.
Seven
He raised
kids.
1 child out of his 7.
Whoa. Let's not.
No, let's
We're
go
gonna
there.
talk about
That's
it
what we're
because
here for
you're
today.
lying here, and it's making me upset.
Now take me to this part about the timeline because I want to understand it. You're saying you don't believe Lakita is your biological child based upon a timeline you submitted to the court.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. On this timeline, you say you reconnected with their mother in the middle of April.
About 3 weeks before we got married. Yes, ma'am.
All right? And you got married on May 4th.
Yes, ma'am.
Lakita was born September 29th, that same year,
Right.
which would put the conception date back sometime in early January.
January.
That is 2 to 3 months before you say you even reconnected with their mother.
Yes, ma'am.
So when you did this math, you said, Lakita's not my biological child.
Yes, ma'am.
It's off by a lot. Is there some piece of information that we didn't get? Is there something we're missing? Because just looking at that,
There's no way.
there's no way.
And that's where all the confusion comes in.
Because for so long, it's just been so much back and forth about it. Like 1 minute, she's his, and then she's not. Then the next thing I know, I'm not. And it's a lot. Because to us, we don't get any of this. We don't hear this. It's everyone else that he tells this stuff to. And that's what's so painful. Because at least be honest with me. Let me know. I should be the first person to hear that you don't think I'm yours. I shouldn't hear this from my brothers or anyone else. That's bogus to me.
Yes.
That's lame.
And your brother submitted a statement to the court.
Yes.
And I'd like to read that statement. It says, in 2014, my father and I had a phone conversation. He expressed to me that he had doubts about Lakita being his daughter. He told me that he asked Lakita's mom for a paternity test after he first received child support documents because he felt she just pinned a baby on him.
He called me on my birthday, DeMarcus, and this is how I found out on my birthday last year that there was doubt. And you know, me and him have always had a disconnect because he, as much as he tries to say he loves my mom and he loved everything about her, he didn't like her attitude. And my mom raised me, so of course, I'm gonna more than likely have that attitude because me and her were like best friends. So our disconnect is my attitude. He feels like I can't be his child because his child wouldn't act the way that I act. But you didn't raise me, so how should I act? And should I love you because you weren't there? Like, I don't understand. What do you want from me? I don't owe you anything. I didn't have you. I didn't walk out on you. I tried to build a relationship even when you shunned me out. I apologize for my wrongdoings even when I had to accept apology you would never give me. And still to this day, even bringing it up to you, I still can't get an apology for how you ruined my life and you tried to make it where nobody, even my own sister, who stands here with me today, not have a relationship with me.
This is heavy. This is heavy. There's a lot going on here. And you two beautiful young girls have had to bear the brunt of it all.
We don't have anybody, so it's just us. That's the only family we have. So when we're going through it like we are now, and we have issues, and when we are struggling, or when we're
about to be homeless,
anything, we literally have nowhere to turn. We have no family on his side because nobody knows we exist. Nobody knows about us.
There.
So we don't have no one.
DeMarcus told us that he told his own family in Louisiana where he was raised, he has one child. And they've asked, I thought you had daughters. DeMarcus asked him, I thought I had sisters. No, you don't have any sisters. You don't have any family in Seattle. That's not your siblings. And then it all comes out to play because we're all a part of an I Am a Finister group on Facebook. So eventually, everybody was gonna find out.
When you speak of your mother and her challenges at that time, is it possible that there could have been another person, but because she wanted to protect you all, and she wanted to give you the solid foundation that maybe at that point in her life she wasn't able to give in the way she wanted to give it. So what she did instead was just say, this is your father. The man I'm married to it's both of your fathers. And she just left it at that. Is that possible? Have you ever thought about that possibility?
I've thought about it. Now, she's always been sure. And I've always had a question because there's been that disconnect. Okay. And regardless of what we go through, regardless of how much I give, he refuses to build that connect with me. So I always told Tiffany, I'm like, well, I don't think he's my dad. And there's no connection there. And I was the child that desired you as a child. Like, I was a child that was broken.
And it leads to self-esteem issues.
Yes.
Because I always felt like I was never good enough.
Never good enough.
Like, I'm never good enough. Nothing I do is gonna be enough because nobody cares. Nobody loves me. Like my mom, I always felt like my mom was the only one that loved me because everybody else, it was so easy to just
walk away.
Dog me and walk away and leave me behind. I was the only person that never did until she died, and I was hurt.
And we felt empty ever since.
Oh, honey. Oh, you all breaking my heart. Oh. Listen, I cannot promise you that I can give you the answers you want today. But what I can promise you is I can give you the truth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay? Are you ready?
Yes.
Jerome, may I have the envelope, please? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Lytle Finister versus Finister, when it comes to 29-year-old Tiffany Lytle, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Finister, you are the father. In the case of Lytle Finister versus Finister, when it comes to 27-year-old Lakita Finister, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Finister, You are the father.
I told you. I knew my mama wasn't lying. My mama's not a liar. My mama does not lie. My mom is very blunt and very open. She's not a liar. I knew she wasn't lying.
We've pretty much gotten down to the bottom of a 3-decade-long paternity saga. Can you look at your daughters and say anything positive as a father?
I'm hurt deeply behind a lot of things that were said, but I'll live with that.
Mm-hmm. I know it looks like now he's in this victim mode but I'm gonna tell you something. When your mother took off and left him behind, he's still standing right where she left him. Mm-hmm. Women are warriors.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Honey, we can cook the food, raise the baby, go to the job, take the phone calls, do what we got to do with a broken heart.
Yes. Yes.
I'm just speaking the truth today. Men, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
I think your daddy loves you. We still got to process as she left.
Yeah. Would you like a hug, Dad?
Oh, I think that would be beautiful. That's so beautiful.
I'm gonna hug you anyway. I love you, Dad.
Here.